I don't know. Hot dogs don't really freeze all the way through, do they? You can eat a frozen hot dog on a hot summer day to cool off, I believe.
That's cinema, baby.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I'm not supposed to fight with the guests, Mr. Wilson.
I'm not a guest tonight, you yellow bastard. I happen to be an intruder.
Hello and welcome to The Good, the Pod, and the Ugly, the season premiere of season 16. We are a podcast that does deep dives on the filmographies of notable directors, actors, or sometimes practical special effects. This season, we are returning to the basics of doing a temporal pincer movement on a notable director. One neither myself or one of the co-hosts has seen any of his movies prior to the season. We are doing the films of James Gray. I am Ken.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Ryan.
Thomas is the other one who, prior to this season, had not seen a single one of James Gray's films. And I think we both discussed that it was kind of weird because the kind of movies he makes seems like we would have seen at least one or two, right?
Yeah, and he also seems to be in the era that we've watched. I guess I was most keen on new directors.
Mm-hmm.
That being the, for this film, 1994 on through the early aughts.
Yeah. We did like Christopher Nolan. This seems like the third part of our Gen X trilogy with Nolan and Aronofsky a few years ago. This feels
and then
like
the one we won't talk about.
Nope. Will not.
So we, I have a theory on that I'm saving for reactions.
Okay.
For right now, I just want to drop a little bit of knowledge on James Gray because he was born in 1969 in New York City. I don't know if you've seen any of his movies, Ken, now, but he was born in New York City.
What?
Yeah. Imagine
New
this,
York City?
Two Ukrainian grandparents.
No.
Yeah. And their original name they don't have recorded after Ellis Island, or maybe they came through somewhere in New Jersey as he was saying it. But they shortened it to Gray. It was probably something like Grayevsky.
Mm-hmm.
So that was his grandparents. His parents were somewhat working class, just like the movies we're going to be talking about. These first pairing, we're going to get a lot of background on there anyway. But he went to USC. He really wanted to go on to UCLA because of Coppola, who he really respects, or NYC for Scorsese, because both of those are his kind of like his boys, his team, right?
Yeah.
And while at USC, he made a short film as the final project. I think 5 students get a budget to direct films. He was one of those 5. Cowboys and Angels was the name of his short film. What they do there is strange, where you get somebody else's script to direct as your final project.
Yeah.
So he read through about 25 scripts and found something with a genre to it. And so he makes this film. He thinks that it got recognized because everybody else is using like synthesizers, or they have somebody on their podcast that does the music for them.
Uh-huh.
But he used a professional score, used Bo Diddley, Dave Brubeck, and some Billie Holiday in it. And he thinks that that's what made his film pop more than some of the other films, which gets him signed on by Paul Webster. British dude working at Working Title. We know them from probably the Coen Brothers films.
Yeah.
In the 90s. And so that dude moves to the States to find new talent in the 90s. In the 80s, he was chilling with Neil Jordan and Tim Roth, which is how you get Tim Roth into the film that we're talking about today, Little Odessa. And a lot of this I get from a book that's not available through the Multnomah County Library, but through their interlibrary loan system.
Shout out.
Yeah. James Gray. Came out in 2012. So some of the films we're going to be talking about are not part of this publication, which is bilingual, because it's a French book produced by Synecdoche, a French publisher. I get both French and English.
Very good. And you read it in both, because you read both languages, right?
One better than the other. I won't say which.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I read the interview, the filmmaker interview from 1995 when the film was released. And some of the interviews I read for Armageddon Time, Gray really comes off as being very humble, aware of how lucky he is to be in the position of being 24 years old and directing Vanessa Redgrave, Tim Roth, Eddie Furlong, and Maximilian Schell. And that really carries through, I think, to his last movie, Armageddon Time, where he just seems a very humble, working writer-director, and very grateful for all the chances he has gotten, and very willing to share stories and wisdom with younger filmmakers.
Yeah, I listened to him on Mark Maron interviewed him, and so I went back and listened to that interview right for Armageddon Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he comes off as humble but erudite, and he does amazing impersonations. And
does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like who in particular is he good at?
Oh, well, us, because he's big fans, apparently. It's a little weird hearing yourself outside of yourself.
Yeah.
He just has a wide range of character accents he's able to pull off, including a lot of his family members.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he does it. I think he's an Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Perkins would be great, but Anthony Hopkins.
He could probably do Anthony Perkins.
Anyhow, Little Odessa is the film we're talking about today. And the only other film that we've covered from 1994, weirdly, is The River Wild.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's like a gap year for Spielberg, for Clint Eastwood, because it's Bridges of Madison County, I think, comes out right after this.
Oh, and he had Unforgiven, the presidential assassination movie, and the Kevin Costner movie, like right in a row, a year and a half.
There would have been some Cage movies, but we didn't cover them.
Sadly enough. All right, who amongst us wants to try to summarize the plot of Little Odessa?
I'll do it.
Okay,
cool. Because honestly, guys, and this isn't a reaction, but this weekend I watched Play Dirty.
Okay.
Ken's favorite Parker movie.
Oh my God! Shut up.
And I might get these two confused because there's a lot of similarities.
Oh, okay.
In Little Odessa, Mark Wahlberg plays Ruben Shapira. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's
you're getting on mixed up.
In Little Odessa, Edward Furlong plays Ruben Shapira. He is a Jewish American kid growing up in Brighton Beach, primarily Ashkenazi Jew area of New York. And his brother is played by Tim Roth. His older brother is Joshua. And Joshua Shapira, we come to find out, is an assassin and was forced to flee Brighton Beach after shooting a prominent member of the local Russian mafia. He also had a falling out with his parents and his father, and specifically over his criminal behavior. So he's back in town for another hit and decides to take this opportunity to visit with his family and some old friends after Eddie Furlong figures out that he's in town. And
hilarity ensues.
Yes.
It's a very dark movie. It's a very somber movie. It's not a fun assassin movie where the assassin decides at the last minute to save the person they're going to kill, and then they're on the run from the bad guys. Nothing like that. It's Eddie Furlong plays a kid, and in the classic two kind of male parental roles. He has his brother and he has his father, kind of warring almost over his soul in a way. It's a plot we have seen many times before in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and there's some things that are, I would say, I guess at the end, the third act is a bunch of stuff that is kind of new for me, and we'll get to a little bit of reactions there if I jump into it. But one of the things that Gray says in the interviews for this book is that he wanted to do something which is the opposite of what was in vogue at the time.
Yeah.
And still in vogue today, actually. Something without irony, something straightforward, emotional, dark, and with what I thought had a message of authenticity. The opposite of, say, someone holding a silver 9mm Glock like this holds his hand sideways. That was in brackets.
That's funny.
Yeah, because we watched the Christopher McQuarrie movie, which he was very much making it against what was popular at the time, too. And what's popular at the time is like the Tarantino stuff. And this is very much not that.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's very much not that. When we get to reactions, again, we're not there. We have so much to talk about. Yeah, I'm going to bring McQuarrie back up.
Okay.
And especially The Way of the Gun, which is what you were referencing there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's fascinating, those two movies with similar aims of going against what they felt was the current grain of that particular genre, and how wildly different they are is really fascinating comparison.
Yeah. So this film originally was supposed to take place, the script has it in summertime. And so they shot it in what was supposed to be one of the worst snowstorms in New York history.
Yeah.
It was supposed to shoot, I think they either shot for 24 days or was supposed to shoot for 24 days. I know that they lost about a week, 7 or 8 days due to the snow. And some days they only had about 4 hours to shoot out external location because of the snow and just not having the light. But he, like his master, I think one of the first things they shot was that scene whenever the two brothers finally meet to talk. Because, Furlong's character finds Roth's character outside the hotel and he tells him to meet him someplace else.
Yeah.
And that's where Roth gives him a hot dog or something to eat.
Yeah. From Nathan's.
Out in the middle of the snow. And so originally they shot that it wasn't snowing. And then, they're like, oh, really, man.
I was worried about them breaking teeth on the fries or the hot dog for freezing. It looked so cold.
Or just riding your bike in the snow like that. I don't know. Hot dogs don't really freeze all the way through, do they? You can eat a frozen hot dog on a hot summer day to cool off, I believe.
Okay. The next summer we'll test it out.
But he did. So on that Marin interview, he said that, he made the movie at age 23, 24. And if he knew how little he knew then, he wouldn't have made it. And he definitely wouldn't have hired himself. He didn't think that he was ready for telling the story later in life. He said the one thing, and this is something I've found a few different times, came across, that when he went to watch the assemblage for this, like the first cut of this film, the editor was in LA, he's in New York, editor wasn't part of the production. He thought he had a great movie in the can, and he thought that he was hot shit, right? And then he watches the assemblage and he's like, this is not what I thought I was shooting at all. This movie does not work. And he said that he's never recovered from that. Like he's never gotten his swagger back from watching that first cut of his film. So they went back and they redid some things, including they added in the final part of this film, which is the memory of the brothers with the mom who will die during the film. That wasn't originally, it was just like a very nihilistic, dark ending with Roth's character having just burned the body of his brother in the incinerator.
Spoilers.
Hey,
I'm
you've had plenty of time to watch this film. Just because I did it doesn't mean
the cremation of Furlong has particular resonance in the Jewish community because you need to be buried with your people. Cremation is a heretical is probably the right word, wrong word, but it goes against the Jewish faith to burn the kid. It was surprising to me that was the outcome.
Because Tim Roth really comes across as being so religious.
Well, yeah. I was thinking of his family, but yeah, that's true. He's not a very religious fella. He doesn't seem very spiritual.
No.
Okay. You know what? We've gotten kind of dark. Let me give you a little Odessa fact. So Little Odessa is a real place. We all know how Metropolis is really a cover for New York City and the DCU, right, for DC Comics.
Yeah.
Well, you might remember how Superman is always forgetting about and trying to unshrink Kandor, the city in a bottle, and it's always getting stolen by the supervillain Brainiac. Well, basically, that is a substitute for Little Odessa. It's named because it's really small and was stolen by the Slavs. In Little Odessa, all the building plans are at scale of 1:1. Little Odessans are so small they pose for trophies. Little Odessans are so small that ants burn them with magnifying glasses. They're so small they don't roll dice in a game of craps. They push them. Little Odessa is so small that its zip code only has 4 digits. It's so small, Rand McNally asks if it's in yet. Hey, a sea monkey was their King Kong.
They're getting smaller and smaller.
Little Odessa is so small that someone actually bought and watched Ant-Man Beyond the Quantum Verse in the theater. Okay. Tom Cruise not only plays the Little Odessa Cossacks for them, the NBA team, the Little Odessa Cossacks we all know, but he's the starting star center. That's how small they are. Nobody in Little Odessa has ever complained about the size of their airplane seats. A minnow was menacing the shores of Brighton Beach, and Roy Schneider said, "We're going to need a bigger boat." So those are all true things about Little Odessa. Now we can go back to fratricide and patricide and yeah.
I was interested in the page from the script you sent us a screenshot of with the Hang 'em High reference. And
originally the movie. So cardinal rule from the Book of Thomas, chapter 7, verse 18: never show a better film in your film. Originally, they were supposed to show Hang 'em High,
which
the
is
Eastwood
terrible
film, to start, but there were rights issues, so they would show Vengeance Valley instead.
I don't think Gray is breaking the rule. Vengeance Valley, I actually watched it after watching this. Thank you, James Gray, for having a movie I hadn't seen before, and I watched it, and it is quite good. I don't think he quite breaks the rule of having a better movie in his movie there, though, and I think it's smart to have a movie a lot of people haven't seen.
Well, instead of Hang 'em High.
Which is a terrible movie and would have gone further from not breaking the rule than Vengeance Valley. But Vengeance Valley is about two brothers, a foster brother and a brother. It's very Shakespearean with their rancher dad passing it off to the real son, who's an asshole. And there's it ends in this. Gray spoils the entire movie because it ends with Burt Lancaster shooting his foster brother, who tried to set up Lancaster in a lot of ways. So it's very on the nose if you know the movie and watch Little Odessa. And I think maybe not knowing the movie, because it's kind of obscure at this point, it was a smart move.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it seems really on the nose. And very one of the times in the movie that it's a bit film school. And there's a couple other times in the movie like that. But I want to go back to Gray not knowing what he doesn't know when he made this movie, and how that's usually the best thing and the worst thing about a first film. And then subsequently, as you mentioned, the more you know, the more difficult it becomes.
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, so he gets Roth signed on through his agent, or through the dude at Working Title, right? And then that's where Furlong and Redgrave sign on, is because you have Furlong on it, and then Redgrave's in town doing, I think, theater at the time. So she gives a few weeks to this very short filming. I was surprised to see Maura Kelly, Donna Hayward from Fire Walk with Me.
Woo!
Yeah.
And The Cutting Edge, where toe pick is a classic line in my family. Which is wild, right? Like, I remember nothing about that film except for there's a hockey player and an ice skater. There's a difference in skates and the words toe pick. Like, that's...
So Gray was reading scripts for his first film, and none of them scratched his itch, and that's how he ended up writing it, because he always saw himself as a director. It's interesting that all of his subsequent films, he either adapts or is sole screenwriter. But he wrote this because he...
Spoilers! Again, I haven't seen any of his films.
Well, you did see Armageddon Time, which is written and directed by him. And he has a couple co-writing credits on from some of his earlier movies. But he is one of the more interesting directors of my age, I guess, because his movies are kind of small. They don't cost a lot. They clearly attract top-tier actors, the scripts. I mean, you look at the original cast Armageddon Time versus the one they got. Both casts are amazing. Mm-hmm. They don't often make a whole lot of money, but there's something about his very modestly budgeted films that he seems to have gotten away with making films that, as my wife put it after watching the second of these two pairings, a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
There's never anything like I'm going for the big time. I'm going to make my Oppenheimer or whatnot. And I like his modest ambitions of making mid-level budgeted films that there's not a lot of seemingly interference with studios in. Carved out a really unique niche, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about his forays into big budget filmmaking over the next couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, with Ad Astra and
Lost City of Z.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, the French apparently like him. The preface by Jean Duget in the book that I have says this. For instance, Quentin Tarantino has lots of ideas, and from time to time he has a thought, but it's not an immense one. On the other hand, it's clear from his very first film that James Gray has what we call at a.k.a. An auteur. You can immediately spot it.
Yeah.
And then he says, with each film, he returns to the same thought over and over again. No matter what we do, our pasts are inescapable. It's the very definition of tragedy. The past and the gods weigh upon us with all their might.
Wow.
Sounds
should have started off with that, Thomas. That's great.
Well, you're the editor. I'm sure you could do some magic. Okay. Well, so here's a critique I might have of these two films. We'll talk about more next week. But could someone explain to me why Maura Kelly's character is interested in the Josh Shapiro, the Tim Roth character?
Are we at reactions yet?
No, I think we could fill in just a little bit of plot with this.
The way she's written, it makes sense. Maura Kelly is, maybe she doesn't know it. The character doesn't know it. Is way above Tim Roth's weight class, I would say.
Characters are.
That's a casting issue. She might be attracted to him because he's like a little kid wearing his dad's jacket.
Wow.
But no, I think that's a casting issue. I think writing wise, it makes sense. I don't.
Is she grieving her father, and that's why she goes for this killer? I mean, everybody knows that this guy is a killer, right? Like, it's not unknown. Like, they all know that he's an assassin. Like, he is not a cool assassin in the way of like maybe the movie Assassins. He's not like he has like a Saturday Night Special. He goes, he shoots you. And drops and walks away. Like, it's very cold and very unglamorous.
Well, he's the bad boy. I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
She feels she's stuck in a dead end world, and he kind of represents a broader world, whether it be violence and full of vice. I mean, not too different than Ray Liotta's wife in Goodfellas. I mean, there's an attraction to it that she obviously has. I'm not a bad boy, so I don't know.
I think it's also a very close-knit insular community. And so, I don't think people leave Brighton Beach and go see other parts of the world or go to Manhattan, that sort of thing, very often. So I think he's exotic for her because he's left and come back and he has this other life. He is a bad boy and toxic. And I think their love scene illustrates that she has some kind of darker impulse, whether it's a desire to be, whether she's a masochist or just has very dysfunctional relationships. I think her attraction to the Roth character symbolizes that there's something pretty wrong in her life, whether it's family related or something
right?
else.
And
yeah.
Okay. So I guess the Twin Peaks thing makes sense because James Hurley was definitely a bad boy. Got that leather jacket and the motorcycle.
Maybe she just likes the crinkly sound of leather. How did Tim Roth sneak up on anybody with that jacket? Come on. You can hear that leather crinkling a mile away.
That's funny.
Okay, so one thing we haven't talked about
is the parents.
Oh, the parents, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to mention a few of those scenes? Because this movie really feels like, to me, not to tip my hand too much, but Way of the Gun in ways of two different scripts pushed together.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we haven't really talked too much about, we haven't talked too much about the violence necessarily, but, he ends up killing his brother in the end. Oh, I'm sorry, his brother ends up dead in the end, and he covers the evidence. And he's a gun for hire and burns people to get rid of the evidence in an incinerator out in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, there's a whole family dynamic that's going on.
And it's interesting that the father in both these movies uses their belt.
Yeah.
And
that's one of my boths for next week.
In Armageddon Time, Gray's real life mom passed away shortly after the events of Armageddon Time, so died very young.
Fascinating.
And the dynamic with the family in Little Odessa is Vanessa Redgrave has a brain tumor, and she's dying, and Maximilian Schell does weird things with his hands to try and calm her down. It's kind of the same weird shit Tim Roth does with Moira Kelly when they're having sex. I don't know what that means, but it was an interesting parallel.
Oh wait, are you talking about when he like looks through the door and his dad's on the bed with her? Okay, was that? I didn't know if he was having sex with her or not.
I couldn't tell.
It was
okay.
I don't think they were, but it was a very sexual position because she's kind of straddling him.
At the same time, Shell is having an affair with an extraordinarily beautiful woman. Again, what is she doing with him? This family seems to really punch above their weight class a lot with the ladies they're with. And then Furlong finds out, and then he also lets Roth know that it's happening. And that whole dynamic of Shell and Furlong, and Shell just trying to he talks about it failing, but also talks about he did his best. He's obviously a terrible father. And it's really kind of, I don't know if tragic's right the word, it's more pathetic. I think the way he tries to talk himself into having done his best, even though it wasn't the best. It's an interesting, really written role, and you can see why, other than Vanessa Redgrave, I'm not sure why we needed an Oscar winner. She's barely in it. But all these roles are just interesting and nuanced enough. You can see why they attracted these great actors.
And there's an interesting, so in the final bit of the movie, it's been almost a week since I watched it. So if you could help me remember, there is, as things escalate, by the time of the grandmother's wedding, so Eddie Furlong and Tim Roth's grandmother, Maximilian Schell's mother, is having a birthday. And Vanessa Redgrave asks the Tim Roth character to go in her place. Yeah. Is that when that happens, has Tim Roth's character already taken Maximilian Schell out and had him stripped down and looks like he's going to shoot him execution style?
That takes place before.
That takes place before. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's impetus there for him to sell out his son.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's somebody, some type of gangster comes up to him and says during the party, hey, if your son's around and you know anything about your son, I need to know. You're basically vouching for him that he's not ever going to come back to town.
Yeah, and to just clarify, because it's pretty ambiguous in the movie, but I believe Tim Roth's character had assassinated the gangster's son, and that's what led him to flee in the first place. So
yeah,
that's why that other gangster's looking for him.
And so while that's happening, he has gone off on a side quest, right? Roth has. And there might be any moment that he could be showing up at that party. There's some tension there, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But he ends up not showing up. And instead, Furlong goes to look for him. And because it's a little bit like the Curb Your Enthusiasm LA, he's able to find him.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes,
yes. And then from there, Furlong's being told by people who want to kill the Roth character. And so they follow Furlong on his bike to end up going back to Moira Kelly's place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he's accidentally shot. The Furlong character is accidentally shot by somebody trying to help out Tim Roth. But there's, in the middle of winter, sheets drying outside.
Can I read a note that I wrote while watching this movie? Did Eddie know where the hit was? Happens to drive by Curb Your Enthusiasm style. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean, that's not a critique. It's just like there is an interesting amount of tension coming towards the end as these two things are starting to combine a little bit more, because the dad has to ask himself, like, I have this mad dog son who I don't want in my house at all, but he knows he has some leverage over me because he knows that I'm having an affair, and also his mom's dying, and I'm a little afraid of him, perhaps.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened during the shooting was that Roth said that he didn't think that, though it was in the script, that Shell should hit him, his dad should hit him. He goes, look, if that actually happened to my character, I'd kill the guy. I'd kill my dad. And so Gray was like, okay. And he went and talked to Maximilian Schell, and he's like, hit him in this scene.
Really?
and he did, and it like broke trust. And Gray said, like, that's one of the few things I've ever done in my like professional career that I do, like, I regret. If it was today, I would have talked to him. I would have found another resolution or talked him into it. Like, I would have done something different. But at the time, I was this young director, and I was on a very tight schedule, and it needed to happen, and it works in the scene. And Roth afterwards said, like, it works, but both Roth and Gray bring that up in this book, that they're like, yeah, that was kind of a shitty thing that was done.
Yeah, that would be really upsetting, I would think, for Roth. I had a lot of sympathy for both the fathers in these movies. They're certainly flawed people, but I think they're in very stressful circumstances. And I think corporal punishment was much more widely accepted in these times, even though, I mean, obviously it left quite a mark, on Gray.
Yeah, particularly this one, when he whips Furlong, it's extremely unpleasant.
And he's actually marked afterwards, like above the neck, right, or above the shoulders, like visibly. Maybe that's, and who knows, like, he hasn't, in anything that I've read or heard, been too explicit, other than his dad did have a very strong temper and had pretty big swings between expressing himself through violence and expressing himself through a certain amount of attention.
Yeah. Yeah, that really comes across in the next film we're discussing.
Okay. I think, are we close?
Yeah. Reactions. Ryan, go.
So this is the second time I've seen this movie. The first time was I rented it in the late 90s. And to what we were talking about contextually earlier, this was marketed as a post-Tarantino, like, high adrenaline crime movie. Of course, Tim Roth had been in Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. So they were really kind of hitting those notes when promoting the movie. And as a teenager, looking for more of that ultra violence, I was very disappointed in how slow this was. And so that was my first time seeing it. Rewatching it now, I was much more impressed. I think it's even grown on me since I watched it a couple days ago. And to what Thomas was talking about earlier, it reminded me a little bit of Mona Lisa in that it's a noir gangster picture, but the family dynamics really subvert the expectations there, where you're expecting it to be a hitman crime movie. And honestly, I think the movie is best when it's leaving that stuff aside and just focusing on this crazy ass family and their problems.
Yeah. Well said. I think, after watching this movie, I read that interview in Filmmaker he did when it was released, and him saying that his expectations eventually for this film was to be seen as an early Gray film. And watching it doing the pincer movement, which we didn't discuss earlier, we'll discuss it next week. Watching his latest film versus this one, and how many themes are shared between them and how many characteristics are shared between them. But Armageddon Time, from a filmmaking perspective, is light years ahead of Little Odessa, which is quite good, but does have a few of the film school moments. There's a few scenes between actors that just don't feel blocked right. But as a first film, it's pretty darn good. As a film on its own, it's really good. But it is kind of a bummer, as my wife so eloquently put it, which is fine. I personally love it. I love bummers. This is exciting season for me. If they're all bummers like this, my God, I found my new guy.
Oh, that's funny.
So, I had a theory that I wanted this movie to support, which I'll talk about in a second. I like bummers as well, and I really appreciated coming out of Squib season having less violence. Like the violence here is more visceral and less showy of a squib.
Although I did say, "Oh, that was a nice squib," when the guy gets hit. It's going to take a while for that to leave my system, I think.
That makes sense. At one point, I guess for both of these movies, I paused it and I got up to do something and came back to it because I watched both of these on hard media available through the Multnomah County Library.
Shout out.
And so my spouse said, "What do you like? How is it?" I was like, "Well, it's teetering. If they introduce one more thing, because they've already introduced a mistress, brain cancer, son who can't come back, son who's a hitman, son skipping school, and so if there's one more like soap opera element, if we find out that he has like amnesia at the end, or there's a twin brother who comes in and it's like, I'm actually the good son. Yeah, this movie's terrible, but it just kept teetering the entire time on me being very upset with the soap opera-ishness of the film. Because it's a film that
Interesting.
I feel like wants to be realistic and fairly gritty and has some great shots. Like whenever the Roth character's under the boardwalk or under the park and then the camera moves up, or I guess it moves down to reveal him underneath whatever he's with the people he's going to end up recruiting as his heavies. And there's a certain amount of realism to it. There's also like the line that I gave at the very beginning of potentially if we didn't cut it for a cold open, where he says like, wait to like, do you believe in God? And the guy's like, yeah. It's like, well, wait 10 seconds and see if he comes to save you.
Yeah.
Which is a brutal thing. And I think that the tension of the end of the movie is a pretty interesting build, but it really feels like it's to me watching it, it really felt like it was neither fish nor fowl. Like it wanted to have both of those elements and it couldn't really focus on either of them in a way that I found satisfying.
Well, I don't see those as soap opera plots. I see this as being a fairly subdued crime melodrama, not unlike the Western melodrama that he references explicitly at the starting of the movie, which also has a really realistic setting of cattle ranching and introduced stuff that I had never seen before. But at its core, it is a melodrama. It's an old-fashioned crime melodrama about a son caught in the middle of his dad and his brother. And on that level, I find it quite successful.
But I like Desperate Hours for a melodrama, I guess. Is that the same genre then?
Yeah. The original or the remake?
The original, the Bogart one.
Yeah.
Is that not a melodrama, a crime melodrama?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, but it plays it up more. Thomas, I think you're hitting on something really interesting. And having seen some more of his films, I will be eager to revisit this conversation going forward because I think it's something that kind of runs throughout most of his filmography. The balance between melodramatic family tensions and the larger sort of plot and genre that is being portrayed.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see that as well.
So here's what I wanted this film to be. Not like rewrite it or anything else. Like before I saw the film at all, I was like, shit, it came out in 1994. Awesome. I want this to be like there were two paths that happened after Sex, Lies, and Videotapes. One is more like adult drama, and the other one is the genre for indie filmmaking, right? So you have like Clerks and Slacker, maybe on one side, and then you have like Shallow Grave and I don't know, Alien 3 on the other. Like where you start to have like this split that happens, and then Gray firmly fits in the side of Dazed and Confused or Hard 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that he does. Like, and it was just something I was really hoping for. Where like, oh, okay, I wanted to have a theory that in the '90s, indie film like split in two different directions, and then the way that the branch that was Linklater and maybe Gray just withered and died, and it maintained like the momentum of like genre and made things pulpier, and then like created enough interest that it became like the DCU and the MCU and other
Mm-hmm.
superhero movies. But I don't think that the film really fits that narrative, and so I'm going to have to throw it out.
I think he is obviously indebted to early 70s movies.
Yeah.
The duration of each shot in this movie is longer than almost every other movie made in the 1990s.
Yeah.
I think he was very consciously being a throwback to the movies he liked in the early 70s, which I personally love as well. And between these two movies, I haven't seen the ones in the middle yet. I really feel that he is stuck to that. So he's kind of carved out his own little corner from what I can see of these two films.
Yeah, I think it's his gift and his curse that he's in this little niche. It reminded me, to your point, Ken, it reminded me of something like The Friends of Eddie Coyle, if Eddie's Coyle family was like a much bigger part of that film.
That's a good call. Yeah.
But that sort of low to the ground crime movie, very kind of humble in what it's trying to portray.
Yeah, his wife doesn't have brain cancer, nor is there like an affair that's going on. That like it's yeah. I think that there was too much soap opera for me in this, and for me it just played a little bit like in The Way of the Gun, where like you have the whole whatever's happening with the developer, the crime lord, and his wife, and there's like a whole other story that just kind of interrupts the cooler story. Or maybe there was moments of acting that reminded me a little bit of like there's some Benicio del Toro stuff in here.
I think I'm
That
going
was
to push
pretty
back
good.
a little bit on that,
But
Thomas, because I
there's
think
also some Ryan Philippe.
this is Edward Furlong's story. I feel like I know Tim Roth is the name and he's the character at the end that you see, but for me the heart of this story is Eddie Furlong, so it's his orbit that Tim Roth comes in. I think if you're seeing it from an orbit that Tim Roth is and goes in, it's a different movie, but I felt from the start that Eddie Furlong is both the heart of the movie. I think it's the best performance in the movie because you love him. And
Yeah.
you're really concerned about him when you find out he hasn't been to school. Because I was wondering, does he even go to school? He's talking about homework. And that turns out he hasn't been to school for months. And you really want him to find the path out of these two horrible men that he's caught between.
I don't know. Fuck the guy. He can't hold his liquor. Puking in the reptile reptile house. No, what's interesting though is that Gray actually rewrote some of the script and re-envisioned it whenever he got Furlong cast.
Uh-huh.
Because originally the kid was going to be a lot cooler, but then Furlong's vibe was much more reticent and quiet. And so he shifted the direction of the film a little bit to help with this, which I think it's a two-hander to my mind, especially as your main character. You know, this happens occasionally in films that I like To Live and Die in L.A. Your main character dies at the end.
Yeah.
And the movie continues.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Building off Ken's comment, I think it's fascinating that Edward Furlong's situation is kind of the flip side of Henry Hill from Goodfellas, who also hasn't been to school in months and gets beaten with a belt by his dad. Obviously, Henry Hill ends up being a real cool guy and getting to live the glamorous gangster life, which I think is kind of what Eddie Furlong is hoping to do. And obviously, his life goes very differently.
Well, it ends first and foremost.
Yeah. That's correct.
And I had a plot question. Maybe one of you guys could explain to me, or it could just be a plot hole. They pick Moira Kelly up before they go see the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So at the end, why is it a discussion of Eddie Furlong not knowing where she lives?
No, she meets him at like a corner of something.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah, he
they
says,
pick her
"Hey,
up
meet
on
me
a
out
street
here
corner.
at this place."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I was
And
confused.
then so how Roth is ID'd as being back in town is because like his buddy's getting a blowjob in a car parked across the street from his house. Is that right?
From the hotel that he's staying at.
yeah.
No. Oh, from the hotel
Yeah,
he's staying
it's
at?
the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment. It's fine.
Got it.
Little Odessa is very small.
It's in the
like
name.
a couple square miles, yeah.
The lizard from Rango is their Godzilla.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Hey, I was surprised to see two actors who have had pretty large neo-Nazi roles playing Jewish.
Who dat?
Oh, well, Tim Roth,
Yeah.
Made in Britain, right? Call back to last season. And Eddie Furlong in American History X.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If we get Russell Crowe or Patrick Stewart in one of these films, my head might explode.
I do. I think Furlong kind of got short shift because I think he's really good here, and it's a bummer more people didn't see it, and he wasn't able to escape the Terminator 2 kind of role.
He is really fantastic in this, and you for me anyway, I feel real paternal towards him as being a parent, and really worried about the choices he makes in this movie. And I think if that doesn't work and you don't feel like, oh, Eddie, don't do that, the movie doesn't work as a whole if you don't have that connection.
Yeah.
He holds the whole thing together.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in an impossible situation, really, between his brother and his dad and his mom. Yeah, it's not fair for a kid his age to have to play that role.
Yeah.
For his dad and his brother.
Well, and it's fascinating too because the dad is constantly pushing school and being an intellectual, and he runs a newsstand. You know, it's not like that path has really served him. So you can certainly see why Furlong is attracted to Roth.
You've seen the gal his side piece.
Yeah.
It must be doing something right.
What?
That's true.
So by the end of the movie, I do have to say that the amount of times somebody says something to Roth and he immediately pulls out his gun and points at Zoe's face, it started reminding me of Tom Cruise in Eyes Wide Shut showing his doctor ID wherever he went. Well, it almost becomes a bit by the end of the movie.
I was wondering, both of these movies have a character who's considered dumb. And it's actually for this, it's the older brother. In the next film, Armageddon Time, we'll talk about the younger brother is.
Yeah.
But so Roth in the hotel scene with, for whatever reason, Maura Kelly, she's there with them, says like something about like he'll never like be anything more than like this hitman because they think that he's dumb or he's considered dumb.
Mm-hmm. And
I think that there's a lot of opportunity there in a film to have like the person who seems kind of quiet. Typically, if you're seen as quiet in a film, it seems like you're putting things together and you're thinking and you've got something going on behind the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like he was a little bit of a mastermind. I mean, he does come in and recruit those other thugs. But I think it'd be a far more fascinating film if he was really fucking dumb and just scary. Like,
interesting.
I only thing I know how to do is pull out my gun and like shoot you. And so I will shoot you in the middle of a street because because it seems like he clocks the guy when he shoots somebody in the middle of the street, in the middle of the film, he's walking down the street. He's like, oh, I think that guy recognized me. And he has like a moment and he turns around and he goes and kills him. But it seems like he's doing so as somebody who has at least a normal, like average level of cognition, of a cognitive awareness, right? I think it'd be far more fascinating if he was just like ruthless and dumb and ready to kill at a drop of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Thinking of again, gesturing at the next movie we'll cover, Armageddon Time. I felt like the families have a very specific idea of what a smart person is, and that's like a brainy, bookish intellectual.
Mhm.
And I don't think Roth fits that. To your point, Thomas and Ken, you saying that you don't think he's necessarily very smart. I feel like Roth's character is kind of a cipher in an interesting way, where he kind of is all things to all people. Whoever he's hanging out with, they project what they think he is onto him, and he's just like, yeah, fine, that's what I am. You know?
Very good.
Yeah, I could see that. Hey, I have a problem whenever, is it the dad? Is this something about like when a child's 6 years old, it says a father can do everything. He basically makes Gray goes in and takes like a Twain quote, Mark Twain quote, and makes it longer and less interesting to hear in the film.
Yeah, he makes it more of a story than, yeah, for sure. He does pull his gun out a lot. I would have liked to have seen a scene at the snack bar at the movie theater where the guy's like, "You want butter on that?" He pulls out his gun. Do I look like someone who eats it without butter?
No, I think it has to be more like a Homer Simpson whenever he had his gun, his pistol, where it's like he gives Furlong the frozen hot dog and he has a little bit of relish on the side of his cheek and he's like, "Oh, let me get that for you." And he pulls out his gun and like wipes it off.
I did really love the scene at the zoo where he pulls the gun on the janitor. I had the pleasure in my high school years of having a gun pulled on me once, and I very much identified with the janitor, where you're suddenly like, oh shit, this is not that big a deal, buddy. You can just calm down now. Yeah. Like we're just talking here. I do not know what your problem is. And I really got that feeling from the janitor, and Roth being so eager to prove his machismo.
What do you think the age gap was between those two in the movie?
Roth and Furlong?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess about 13 years.
Okay.
Well, what is it?
Sure I was clocking the same thing.
Oh, what did you think?
Is that to Ryan? Because I felt it was about the same, at least a decade between the two. Which there was a moment in the theater where I was like, oh, is Furlong going to get with Maura Kelly?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was checking her out during the Freddy Krueger.
For
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's like a 14-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid. Of course he's going to be checking her out.
I felt like Kelly's character was closer in age to Roth's than to Furlong's. I thought
there's a 16-year difference between the actors, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought Roth was playing, I assumed Roth's character was younger, but him being as old as you guys thought does make sense as well.
So one thing I want to acknowledge that Gray says is that he opens the film in that darkness. That's at first I thought that was a confessional. Like we slowly bring the light in, and it feels very much like a first film. Like, let me show you what I can do. Flourish, but at the same time, he's also like his rationale for doing so. I appreciate, which is I'm teaching people how to watch my film. Like, this film is going to be a lot more European than maybe what you're expecting, especially if you just watch Reservoir Dogs or same year Pulp Fiction.
This is the second Furlong film we've covered on the podcast after the Crow movie.
Yes, right? Yeah. And 15 years from this, I think, is when The Crow comes out. No, 11 years. The fourth.
Oh no, we Assault on Wall Street. He was in Assault on Wall Street too, as well. There wasn't a sequel.
Wow, poor Eddie.
Yeah, what a fascinating career, man. Fame is a tough thing for a kid.
I really liked the scene in the car with Kelly and Roth that had a nice bit of old noir energy with the way her face was framed with the bright red lipstick, and he's just kind of looking schlubby next to her.
I mean, I enjoy the whole confusion at the end of the laundry scene. This is 3 years after Point Break. So it's a little hard to have like a backyard chase and not have it seem derivative to me. But the confusion around who's where and the tragedy of the brother dying, of Furlong dying.
he directs the hell out of that sequence, though. That is one on the page that could be terribly blocked and shot with coverage, etc. But it is great. It in a lot of ways it makes or breaks the movie, because if that scene doesn't work, if it looks crappy or edited poorly,
I do have a sense that if there was a director commentary on it, he would have to speed himself up like an auctioneer to be able to say like all the shots that he cribbed from somebody else.
Right.
Like all the setups and blocking and the other pieces. Because it feels like when he pushes in on that hole in the laundry, it's an homage to something else.
Yeah. Heaven's Gate. Christopher Walken is an assassin. And I believe the first person he shoots is through a sheet hanging on a clothesline.
Okay.
Well done, Ryan.
And it's very very cool.
He does a lot of pull-ins. Pull-ins are something that we don't see a lot anymore, and he does them here and a few times in Armageddon Time, and I'm glad he's keeping it alive. Because you got the fucking camera, you got the lens. Why aren't we pulling in more? Why are we having all these flat static shots and just basing it all on editing, cutting, and coverage? Do it in the same fucking shot, man.
Yeah,
that's what
all
makes
these
it
Catholics
so exciting.
pulling out.
Yes, the church-sanctioned rhythm method. Very functional. There's also, I believe, a nod to The Godfather when Tim Roth takes his dad out to the wheat field. I believe that's the same wheat field as the leave the gun, bring the cannolis scene from The Godfather.
Did you think he was going to kill his dad? I mean, not the second time, because you saw it already.
I was unsure. I thought it could have gone that way, but it seems like that would be a much bigger mess than the movie really had space for, you know.
I liked the fact that I wasn't sure if he was or not.
It was a really coin flip for me. I could have gone, like, it was interesting because I felt like he really could have gone either way.
Yeah. All in all, I think it's a really good movie. Not a great movie, but as a first film, there's a whole lot there, and you can see why he's worked fairly steadily since.
Shit, I would say out of all the Gray films that I've seen, all the James Gray films, top 2.
Same.
At least at this point. I mean,
yeah, it's one of the best James Gray films I've seen. For sure. Does that wrap it up? Are we wrapped up with Gray by the power of Gray's skull, Little Odessa? And we're going to do Armageddon Time. That's preparing it with. And next week, Ryan will explain temporal pincer movement and why we're doing it that way.
Sure.
Yeah, right? I'll come back for episode 2 of Gray Matter.
That's right.
With the Gray Man.
Our Spalding Gray filmography deep dive.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week for Armageddon Time. Unless Armageddon Time happens before then we'll all be dead.
Yeah.
You know what that makes us together? Together, that makes us flash gorgeous.
Flash gorgeous.
I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you.
Flash gorgeous.
I don't want to hear about you. I want to hear from you.
It's 10-4.
10-4, buddies. Destroy. Kill all hippies.
I don't hate it. I just don't know why you're straight from the formula.
You bastards! You don't know it, Bob. I'm an artist. And I must reflect that in my rhyme.